Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fourth session of the 18th MAP International CEO Web Conference 2020, A Whole New World, Reigniting the Stalled Global Community. Our fourth session will focus on ASEAN in times of crisis, greater integration, unity, and solidarity in adversity. It is our honor to bring to you our fourth speaker, the Secretary General of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, His Excellency Dato Paduka Lim Jokhoi.
Distinguished speakers and moderators, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is indeed my pleasure to speak to you today, and I would like to thank the Management Association of the Philippines for this invitation. I am also pleased to see business leaders and practitioners gather together to talk about the future despite the difficulties we are facing. This signified, in my view, the resilience of the business sectors. In this uncertain time, the need to overcome this pandemic is imperative for all of us. We need to move forward and work together for a recovery. That's why I'm very glad that you have chosen a timely and appropriate theme in your conference today on the need to reimagine and to reignite our world again. To be sure, the business community has a lot at stake in imagining the future recovery, not only to ensure business continuity and revive economic activities again, but also to protect the workforce, stabilize supply chains, and engage the customers. All of these are crucial if we want the recovery to get traction. As you all know, we are now in a pandemic crisis like no others. The unprecedented scale and scope of COVID-19 crisis has taken the world by surprise. As the crisis unfolds, it is clear that COVID-19 is not only a global public health crisis, but also an impending economic crisis. Governments around the world are now racing to ensure that this will not further deteriorate our social instability and hence political instability. In ASEAN, the crisis has already far-reaching implications. Although the transmission and fatality rates per capita are lower than other regions, we cannot be complacent. By the end of this year, ASEAN expected to contract for the first time in 22 years. COVID-19 has put millions of jobs at risk, while business, especially MSME, struggle to stay afloat. Some sectors, such as aviation, tourism, accommodation, food services, retail, and manufacturing, have been hit particularly hard during this pandemic. The vulnerable group are the ones hit hardest, from low-income workers, smallholders, and the informal sectors. And although growth is expected to rebound in 2021, we expect that it will be sometime before the economy is back on its pre-COVID growth path. To be sure, even if a recovery is achieved, the post-pandemic world will not be a return to business as usual. Our world has been irreversibly transformed by COVID-19, and this calls for equal transformative response. No individual country can also combat COVID-19 alone. Rebuilding the world will require all actors to work together for us and to bounce back better and stronger towards a more inclusive and sustainable growth. ladies and gentlemen, since its outbreak, ASEAN has responded early and swiftly to work together in combating the pandemic crisis. This is not just empty rhetoric. It is, in fact, a much needed signaling that ASEAN will keep itself open and unfold the spirit of cooperation and partnership in the fight against the pandemic. Recognizing the expansive impact of the pandemic, ASEAN has adopted whole of ASEAN community approach, noting the fragmented sector-by-sector approach will not be effective. For this reason, ASEAN Coordinating Council Working Group on Public Health Emergency was established, a dedicated ASEAN body comprising of senior level officials from all three community pillars of ASEAN to coordinate ASEAN's response efforts. This body reports directly and regularly to the ASEAN Coordinating Council, which is the second highest body in ASEAN after the summit, ensuring streamlined guideline and decision making. In addition, a concrete initiative has been set up, including the establishment of COVID-19 ASEAN Response Fund. Work is also underway to establish ASEAN Regional Reserve of Medical Supplies and standard operating procedure to deal with future public health emergency. Beyond health responses, mitigating the social economic impact COVID-19 has been an urgent priority. At the national level, countries have already acted to inject liquidity in the economies, help small businesses to survive the crisis, and support the economic welfare of households. It is interesting to note that in many cases, these measures involve the active support of the private sector. In total, stimulus measures amounted to almost 408 billion, or 13% of the region's 2019 GDP were announced. The scale and pace was unprecedented, although actual rolling out and observing will be key. This likely need to continue for quite some time, but in the medium to longer term, policymakers will also need to think about fiscal health and debt sustainability. At the regional level, adding to the commitment to keep market open to trade and investment is to work to keep supply chains connected, particularly for essential products. The Hanoi Plan of Action on Strengthening ASEAN Economic Cooperation and Supply Chain Connectivity was adopted by the ASEAN Economic Ministers in June 2020, and work is underway now for its implementation. The same spirit of cooperation has also been echoed in other sectors, from tourism to transport, energy, and agriculture. Equally important in ASEAN is ASEAN's continued engagement with the external partners. The same logic that no country can overcome COVID-19 in isolation also applies for the region. In addition to a number of joint statements with its external partner, which commit to keep market open and supply chains connected, ASEAN is also in the discussion with its FTA partner to upgrade their FTAs so as to ensure their continued effectiveness and relevance. The targeted signing of Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, will likewise boost the much needed market confidence and in turn support recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to draw your attention to the ASEAN Comprehensive Recovery Framework, which are currently developing in response to the current crisis in the region. The way we see it, the recovery framework, which will be accompanied by an implementation plan, will serve as ASEAN coordinated exit strategy to recover from this pandemic. It identifies broad strategies and implements actions that will take the region through the stages of recovery with the ultimate objective of building a more inclusive and resilient recovery. In charting the region's path to recovery, ASEAN recognizes that government action alone are not enough. The severity of the crisis demonstrates that everyone needs to double down on their resolve if they want to save life and safeguard livelihoods in the region. Indeed, this unprecedented crisis requires unprecedented action from everyone. In this regard, the role of the private sector is particularly crucial. Beyond their responsibilities to ensure business continuity is the ongoing crisis, private sector companies can work together with government in tackling this pandemic and its economic fallout. In my view, there are three important areas where visible action from the private sector, including members of the MPA, are needed to support ASEAN governments in the recovery response. First is the stabilizing supply chain. This pandemic has demonstrated how the disruption in supply chain exposed the region to more vulnerabilities. As economies reopen, it is crucial that companies are able to support business continuity through transparent supplier engagement and flexible adjustment of their production and operation. Companies should also rethink supply chains to make more efficient and resilient. They can invest in mapping and monitoring of supply networks so that they can immediately make appropriate action to address potential disruption. Restoring supply chain connectivity is crucial to optimize the potential inter-regional trade and investment that has underpinned the region's economic growth over the years. And beyond its role in supply chain, private sector can also support the recovery by protecting their workforce and guaranteeing employment for their employees. Second, we need the private sector to adapt to a new emerging trends such as digitalization to support the recovery. Evidence has shown that the use of digital technologies during this pandemic has unleashed productivity improvement in the way people work and interact. This opportunity needs to be captured well in the post-pandemic world by a strong partnership between government and private sector. While the government can undertake investment in digital infrastructure, the private sector can also engage in addressing critical needs related to digital technology, digital skill, data governance, and cybersecurity. For example, company can assist in facilitating reskilling and redeployment support to address job disruption and support employment beyond the pandemic. Finally, the pandemic presents an opportunity for the private sector to step up action and work in hand with the government to address long-term economic resilience. There are two important areas for engagement by the private sector. One is through the promotion of low carbon recovery. This can be achieved by companies investing in green infrastructure and taking advantage of financial incentive from government to build climate resilient technologies that can create more jobs and economic growth. Another promising area is in sustainable financing. The private sector can support the recovery by partnering with government to establish funds to support small business and households. In addition, new financing instruments can be developed to fund critical infrastructure investment for recovery or earmarked for immediate relief of sector hard hit by the pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, please allow me to stress that ASEAN will stand together with each other, with the global community, and with its stakeholders in fighting COVID-19 pandemic. This crisis provides us with an opportunity to truly put our collective resolve in practice and into what really matters for our people. We will not let the crisis digress our community building and regional integration agenda. Rather, we will use this opportunity to calibrate our approach, prioritize and address the vulnerabilities and gaps that have been exposed by the crisis and consolidate to build back better for a stronger future. To this end, your role and contribution as business and industry leaders will be key in ensuring swift and robust recovery for the region. Thank you, and I wish you all fruitful deliberations.
Thank you, His Excellency Dato Paduka Limjock Hoi, for that encouraging talk on ASEAN cooperation in the midst of the pandemic. It is indeed an honor to have you share the screen with us here at the MAP International CEO Web Conference. After the strict lockdown, the Secretary General of ASEAN had to forego his planned live delivery and pre-record his presentation. For this reason, the open forum will be dispensed with, and we will instead move to our final speaker today. But before we do that, we have a poll happening. We'd like to remind everyone that we have a poll happening to find out your thoughts and opinions on the sessions. Your answer would be greatly appreciated as we craft the themes and topics of importance and interest to you in our succeeding conferences. PwC, in cooperation with the Management Association of the Philippines, conducted a survey with the country's CEOs and asked them about how they plan to adjust their current business plans and succeed in the changed environment the COVID-19 global pandemic brought. Here are some of their views in the PwC MAP CEO Survey 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not forget to send us your thoughts and comments on today's event. Access link to our online feedback form will be sent to your email address after.